Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Show. And we have a very special guest for you this evening at the 6 o'clock hour. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show a very talented performer in the DMV area, comedian, writer, mentor for the Christian Comedy Association. Excuse me. She's been so many things, I'll tell you. She's been doing comedy since 1998. A native Washingtonian, she's been interviewed by Christina Gray of WHUR, Raynell Green of Heaven 1580, Prince George's Gazette, and other print online media. She has performed on the East Coast and the West Coast, as well as Puerto Rico. She has opened for some of gospel's greatest artists, Pastor Andrew Best, Shanita Morris, otherwise known as Chocolate, Lisa McClendon, and Andre Crouch. And she's appeared on TV commercials, stage plays, concerts, and private events. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with no further ado, please welcome the very talented Platinum.
Hey, Platinum, how are you? Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure. It is my pleasure.
I'm trying to see if I can get a little louder sound for myself, but thank you.
Yes, indeed. I remember when I started doing comedy about 7 years ago in the area. You were my first stop at an open mic that you were having. I had a great time. Met a bunch of faith-based comedians and artists and entertainers, and I had a great chance to do some wonderful networking there. Tell us a little bit. Are you still doing that open mic?
No, I did it for about a year, and so it didn't really prosper the way I want to. So I said, well, I'm gonna give it all I got. So I did it for about a year, and then after a year, I closed it down.
Okay, I got you. It was really a very positive experience for comedians that are, just trying to stay substantive with their content and clean and family friendly. And it's just not something that you see very often in the DMV area for comedians. So I'm sorry to hear that. Prayerfully, you'll be able to get that going again. That was really a great open mic.
Yeah, we hear them say, hey, we need some clean this and clean that. Then when we give them to them, they don't show up.
Well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. In the midst of this pandemic, Platinum, what have you been doing to try to stay busy, to supplement the inability to be out there live? Are you doing Zoom shows?
Well, actually, I have not. I was getting ready to have my AMU Mother's Day Eve dinner and comedy show before COVID showed up.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to get back out there doing some things because I actually have a boutique. So I've been kind of putting more of my attention into the boutique than I have into my comedy. So I said, you know what, let me get back out here now that I retired, and start doing some more comedy. Then all of a sudden the pandemic hit. But no, I have not done it Zoom or anything like that. But I thought it'd be nice. I actually did a little skit called Naomi's Story, and it's a comedic, but it's biblical. And so I was thinking about putting that out. So I am going to start getting back into my comedy real soon.
Okay.
So, and I think you had a question whether I was doing Zoom or outside. Right now, I'm not really comfortable gathering with a bunch of people in or outside.
Yeah.
So if I was to do something, it would definitely be versus Zoom. At least Zoom, hi, Miss Clarice. You got a little bit of feedback. You know what I mean? You would have a little bit of feedback.
Yeah.
Of course, outside, when you got a live crowd, that's even better.
Oh, yeah. Well, no question about that. Hey, Charles Babler, watching from Tacoma, Washington. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, Charles.
Absolutely. I tell you, I haven't tried outdoor yet, Platinum. I've done some Zoom shows, and I was reluctant. To do those, but I had a lot of comedy friends say, "Oh, Maurice, you got to try it." And it wasn't too bad because you can see faces on the laptop.
Right. Okay.
So, and so you can kind of interact with their images, and you hear them laughing. as
Right.
well. But, it still doesn't, replace the live thing. And then so being outside, they say it's pretty good, but the laughs, they go up into the air and disappear.
Right.
And you just don't get, the
And
sound. But
outside, you got so many other distractions too. So that's the thing of being outside. You got other distractions.
yes, you do. You do.
Thank you, Miss Clarice.
You do
But
have
yeah,
other distractions.
you got a lot of distractions outside. So you're
Yeah.
competing with elements and things and cars and
Well, and it's about to get cold.
Yeah. Yes,
So
yes.
I don't know how they're going to
So
deal
Zoom
with that.
would probably be the better piece, or unless you already got something pre-recorded. I was
Yeah.
thinking about, you can get a few close friends, maybe rent out a hotel room or something, get a
Uh-huh.
few close friends, make sure they social distance, and you can pre-record stuff because that
Right.
way you're getting the live feedback. And
Oh,
then you
okay.
get some
Yeah.
pre-record it and then put it out there on Facebook or, your platform, wherever you're going to share that.
Exactly. Hey, Hilda, what's going on? That's my cousin from North Carolina, all the way down east in North Carolina. That's some great barbecue down there, Platinum. You
All
ever had
right now.
barbecue in North Carolina before? Woo! Some
Ain't
good
nothing like some
stuff.
good barbecue. Ain't
Oh
nothing like
my
some good
God.
food.
I love it. I love it. Well, yeah. So, do you have a prediction, Platinum? As because some people are saying that comedy is never going to look the same again. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think this is where we are right now, and it's just temporary.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would say it's coming back. You know what I mean? But right now, God's trying to get our attention for one reason or another.
That's right.
So like everything, this is allowing us to think another way of how to do stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? We get so used to doing stuff this way. So maybe this, and since everything going technology, so it might be just a call that says, hey, wake up. Here's some new ways of doing things. Here's some new ways of presenting yourself. Allow us to really be creative with our craft.
That's right. And you know what, Platinum, we need to have an ear out for God right now because
That's right.
right now he's doing something, and it would behoove us as his children to listen for the voice of God because he's doing something new.
Oh yeah, he doing something.
God is doing. He put everybody in a timeout, Platinum.
Okay.
He put everybody in a timeout. So God's got
We need to do some training on how to wear a mask. Cause Lord, I've seen all kinds of stuff with the mask. I'm like, really? Okay.
You know what, Platinum? I was in line the other day, and I was at the grocery store, and everybody had their mask on. And there's this one lady, and you got people out there, and that's why we're in the trouble we're in my opinion. But she didn't have her mask on, and she's eyeballing everybody in line like, I dare you to say something to me. Like, ma'am, hey, do what you do, ma'am. I mean, I just didn't understand. I could feel the defiance,
Right.
coming from her. And I'm like, just this is why we're in trouble because you have people out there that just want to do what they want to do.
Exactly. I was
You know.
like, get COVID already. Get
Yeah.
it. Get it. It's trying to date you.
And you know what, Platinum, and
people
and
like,
and my thing is, I don't wish anything bad on the president or anybody. This
right.
man just gets out of the hospital, almost died from the way they talked about it. Then he gets in front of the White House and he takes the mask off and sticks his chest out like he's Superman. I'm like,
You see my
dude.
face? I believe he had COVID-19 like it's snowing outside right now. He ain't had no COVID. That man ain't full of it. Only COVID he had, he full of it. COVID don't even want to be bothered with him.
Yeah.
That's how evil
I
he
didn't get.
is. Nah.
You just got out of the hospital. But you're right. I mean, it makes you wonder what's really going on. You know what I mean, Platinum?
Oh, so we had all these other, and I know God can heal everybody and
Yeah.
anybody and
Yeah.
everybody.
Absolutely.
But that man ain't had no COVID. That's just another plot to change the subject matter. He
That's
ain't had
right.
no COVID. Old clown. No, he ain't had no COVID. How his old unhealthy butt gonna bounce back that fast? Come
Yeah,
on.
that's a good
Tell me.
point. That is a very good point, Platinum. I don't know what to think about all that
And he was
madness.
talking the whole time. He might be a spreader. That I
Well,
believe.
yeah, it's a crazy time we're living in, but God is doing some talking right now. And speaking of God, I know that you are a part of the Christian Comedy Association as a mentor. Tell us a little bit about your association with CCA.
Well, let's see. When Miss Clarice
Yeah.
first started it, she
Okay.
did her thing, I think, for a couple years.
Yeah.
And then I came in when she decided to create a board. I was a part of the initial board.
Yes.
And so I helped write some of the bylaws, as part of the first board. And I
Uh-huh.
wrote the descriptions for the ward category. I think I
Okay.
created them and I wrote them. And so
Yes.
they might have changed them, but I sat down and I created them and wrote them.
Yeah.
But now, I maybe went to 3 of them. And so I guess I just have to get back. And I think it's a good thing, but then I think it could be done a little bit different. But hey, I'm always trying to put my 2 cents in. But I think she's doing a good job. But that's kind of where I am with the Comedy Christian Association. So I was a part of the initial board, getting started, that kind of stuff. Well, I mean, she was already started, but at least with the board.
Well, is there any connection with LOLGCA, the two organizations? Because I know that.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. Right, the Christian Comedy Association. I'm sorry, that's the Caucasian.
Yeah.
And the other one is Miss Clarice, the Laugh a Lot. Yeah, that's
Living on
that
Laughter
was the one I
Gospel
was on the
Comedy
board.
Association.
Actually, the one for the mentor, which right, I'm sorry, getting the names mixed up. I went there only once.
Okay.
And at the time I was doing a newsletter called Word Up. And I still do it
I
on
remember
occasion.
that.
I gotta get
Yeah.
back into my newsletter. I'm ignoring all the purpose God called me to. But Sandra
I remember
Pierce,
that. Yeah.
she was
Yep.
on my newsletter. She was one of the people who read my newsletter. So when I went to Tennessee, attended the first conference, because
Yeah.
the first conference was a African American guy who created. He did some kind of comedy conference. We was in Tennessee, and they happened to
Okay.
be near the Stellars. And so
Okay.
the next year he decided not to do it. Anyway, so I went to the Christian Comedy Association one, and I
Okay.
met Sandra Pierce.
Okay.
You probably heard her. She's a renowned Christian comedian on
Oh,
the
yes.
Asian side.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so when she met me, she hugged me like she knew me forever. She says, "Oh, I love your newsletter." I was like, "Oh my God, you never know
How
who's
about that?
watching you."
Yes.
And so after I attended the conference, about a week or 2 later, she had called me because a young lady who was the mentor, she had left. And
Okay.
so, or she was leaving. And so she
Yeah.
asked me, would I become a mentor? I'm like, oh, I would be honored. And so that's how I got on there. But I only went to it one time.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Because I have never been to the CCA. I always go to Miss Clarice's LOLGCA. I love going there. A lot of great African American comedians there in the gospel community. But I need to try CCA out because some of the CCA members actually go to the Living on
Yes,
Laughter
yes.
gathering. So I need to check. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I've never
There's
been.
more
So
Caucasians. They more Caucasians. And
yeah,
of course, Miss Clarice is more African Americans.
exactly. And so I want to check them out, and try to even things out. It's a lot of good comedy. I think Shonda Pierce is a staunch member of CCA, and
Yes. She was the president at the time, and then she left. I guess she got busy with other projects,
yeah,
and so she left. And of course, it passed on. I think to Nazareth was the came in after her. I think he was the president
Nazareth
then. I don't think he's the
Lagala. I
president
think that's his
now.
name. Yeah, yeah.
But actually, there's another guy who founded it. I think he's from Tennessee because they rotate theirs between Tennessee and California every other year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Platinum, and I know the answer to this question is pretty obvious, but I want to ask you anyway just to get your response,
Okay.
because I was really drawn, like I said, to your open mic. You had one of the few clean, faith-based open mics for comedians to attend, and so my question is, why do you perform as a clean comedian?
Well, more as a Christian comedian.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
when I was searching for my purpose.
Okay.
And so that's what God said. You know, I'm an actress, so I started out acting first. That's how I actually met Miss Clarice. Me and her played the same character called Miss Shutane. So that's how
Okay.
I met her doing
Okay.
a stage play.
Yes.
And so in the midst of praying and, you know, in my quiet time, then the Lord said, "You're a comedian." I said, "Oh, I'm a comedian." And so that's how I got into comedy. And at the beginning, I think one of your questions, have I ever performed before Skeeter Jenkins, huh? Hey, Skeeter.
Yeah.
So I had performed before because when I first started doing comedy back in 2000, you know, early
Yeah.
2000, because I started out acting first and then I went into comedy.
Okay.
And so when I started doing it, they didn't have any, you know, places where Christian comedians go. So
Right.
most places to get the experience was a secular club. And
Yeah.
I learned in there, which I said, which I end up start hosting my own events. I
Yeah.
said one thing I would never do, and then even just studying up on it and reading about you know, being a comedian,
Uh-huh.
is you never mess with your audience. You know, and I saw
Good
these
point.
comedians just mess with their audience, and you
Yeah.
know, to a point where they had one lady almost in tears because you know she had a deformity, so that was
Wow.
nothing she
Wow.
could do about it. And I
Yeah.
remember I went to this training in Atlanta, Georgia, and I went to
Okay.
this comedy club. I believe it's called Uptown.
Okay.
So, you know, when I first read, they say, hey, when you go out of town, find you know, a comedy club or something
Uh-huh.
and
Oh
go
yeah.
to an open mic. So you get an experience. So I was still kind of green then. So I went to
Yeah.
the comedy club open mic. So I end up getting on at the Uptown Comedy Club. And
Yes.
so the guy said, well, we gave you 5 minutes. You can stay on as long as, you know, they enjoying you, whoever. But you
Yes.
got 5 minutes.
Yes.
So, hey,
Hey,
Maurice.
Scott.
He's saying, hey, Maurice. So I went up there.
Yeah.
Right. So as I'm performing and everything, I heard somebody say, kill me now. That was my heckler. Kill me
Oh my.
now. But I ain't
Oh
know
my
I'm
goodness.
real new at this. And so, and first when I realized he's talking to me, I'm like, really? You know? And so the guy came up, he said, okay, your time is up. I said, cool. So I got off, you know, and I remember seeing this guy on Comic View. I think his name was
Okay.
Shorty or something. And
Yeah.
so when he got back to the mic, you know, and comedians would not secular comedians would do that, and I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And so he got up there and he was like, he started talking to the people and called me a B, the B word.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Now he don't know. This sister
He
from the, you know, I grew up in the projects. Don't take that crap.
he must have the wrong one, Platinum.
See, if he'd have gotten away with it, every comedian would have came up there with a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
stopped little Shorty in his tracks.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you this. Now you can tell me get off your stage. I said, but you're gonna dress me by my name.
Yes, ma'am.
And my name
Yes,
is
ma'am.
Flat,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that's what you're gonna call me. He like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Cause I'd have took off my earrings and I'd have been ghetto up in that camp. Don't you call me no out of my name. Oh, no. We ain't playing that. Cause that's what I saw when I first started out. With the
Yeah.
lady, like I said, she was hackling one comedian, and every comedian came up there, follow suit of the first one. And they just
Okay.
stopped picking with the lady. And she was drunk. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I learned, even if you get a hackler, you can shut them up, you
You
know,
can.
do your
You
little
can.
witty stuff on them. And if
Yeah.
they don't shut up, at some point, then it is the club manager's job to come up and ask that patron, you know, either you're going to enjoy the show or I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but no, don't pick with the audience. And I've heard now, say if somebody had something weird on, you
Yeah.
can comment. They know they weird looking. And you know, everybody can laugh. And then at that point, you move on. Because you should have came with enough material that I don't have to look into the audience and they become my subjects.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with that. And that's one thing I noticed as a beginning comedian who was focusing on being Christian and clean. Whenever I would go around secular comics, I noticed, Platinum, that they were always using the audience to build material that they didn't have.
Right.
It's like if you're a comedian, you're supposed to come with material.
Correct.
And now you're belittling the audience members to get laughs. Exactly. And I think they do it a lot. Secular comics do it a lot, you know, and you called them out.
Oh, yeah, and it's up to the manager, I think, to set that rule. So I said when I, start doing my events, that was one of the rules. You don't mess with the audience. Now, like I said, if somebody had on something funny or said something or heckled you, which normally in Christian audience you don't too much see, the most they're going to give you these little sour faces. Like, really? You ain't letting me work this hard and y'all ain't laughing? Or you know what? Y'all have to pay me more. Because now you boring me. You know what I mean? Oh, if you're doing something, okay, so I'm bombing. Is that how y'all gonna make me feel?
Yeah.
What about the joy of Jesus? So, and then sometimes even as in a Christian audience, the pastor sort of sets the pace.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The pastor sets the pace, and if he ain't laughing, then they ain't laughing. Like, really, pastor? You ain't the only one to be up on stage.
That's right.
So, Christians can get a little funky on you too. Because I remember the first time when I first started, I told this joke, and to me in my mind, I wasn't going there, but obviously them Christians thought I was. I said, well, I was in high school, and I'm going down the hall, and the man and one of my, one of the people that go to school with me, he said, you know what, you got legs like a chicken. I said, yeah, that's why I'm so finger licking good. But I wasn't thinking that was nasty.
Okay.
Yeah, but you see how your eyes, and that's how them Christians.
Yeah, but see but the thing, Platinum, let me tell you something. I feel what you're saying 100% because I deal with the same thing. I'm like, the sensitivity. Do you know Bone Hampton? Bone Hampton is an African-American comedian. He works a lot with Shonda Pierce.
Okay.
And but Bone is really funny, and he said the problem with a lot of churches.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he said the problem is the church is a cookie cutter church. Mm-hmm. So if you're offended by any of these jokes that I'm telling, that means you're not willing to realize that you as a human being go through things. Yeah, and as long as you're not being lewd and crude and profane, you know what I mean? You should be able to handle the content.
Well, that's them the ones I say they so heavily bound they ain't no earthly good. And they'll be the same ones like one guy said, you long skirt hoochie mamas. Because you wear long skirt don't make you a savior.
It does not.
Because you wear short skirts, which when I came to my church, I don't mind my knees showing.
Right.
That don't make me a hoochie mama because I'm showing my knees. You know what I'm saying?
Not. Of course not.
People try to label you based on what you look like. Really? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. So don't be so, like you said, heavily bound. You ain't no earthly good, because as Christians, we still got to, baby. We got to know what's going out there in the community in order to witness to people.
Yeah.
I ain't saying you got to hang out with them, but you still need to know what's going on. I real. One of my old church talking about raise your hand to Sister Platinum. Whatever. You can raise anything you want to raise.
Well, Platinum, can I ask you? I want to switch gears just a little bit and ask you a question in regards to what's happening in our nation right now. As far as the racial and social climate, which has gotten very hot. When you look at situations like a George Floyd or a Breonna Taylor, or most recently Jacob Blake, and then you look at how the world has reacted to the United States. And I think, for my memory anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't ever remember the world being disgusted with the way the United States is dealing with racial relations. And basically surrounding the names that I just called out. You got the Black Lives Matter movement. You've got a lot of protesting going on. What I'm asking, I guess, Platinum, is do you think that positive, effective change can come?
Oh, definitely. As the Bible said, when you got a wicked leader, you got chaos.
Yes.
When you get a Christian leader, you got peace. Right now, we got a wicked leader. And he created all this chaos. And I go back to the guy, I don't know his name, said everything Trump touches dies. Now look at this. He has got his hot tail up in the White House, and we got over 214,000 deaths from COVID-19. And he's going to try to blame it on China. I said, damn, China, it might have originated from China, but it came in here, I heard, through what, Brazil or one of those countries. But it's the Trump spread. Because you could have prevented this stuff long time ago. And then first, Black Lives Matter. You know, everybody like, well, all lives matter. You darn tootin' all lives matter. But all lives ain't being taken like the Black lives. So, you know, let's keep this into perspective. We know all lives matter.
Yes, we know that.
Yes. They're not killing all individuals. They killing Black people, unarmed people. Somebody put out something about, you know, had all these different white guys heavily armed, arrested. Got the Black person, unarmed, murdered. You know, it was a grid of about, I think about 15, 12 people.
Yes.
And even the last guy up there skipping from Illinois and went over there into, where was he, in Minnesota? 17
I think so.
years old. He had a gun.
Yeah.
And then they gonna say his mama actually drove him there. What is she thinking? I wish my 17-year-old carrying some rifle, AKA whatever he had, telling me drive him somewhere he gonna shoot somebody. If I wouldn't take that gun and knock him upside his head out, really? So no, it makes me sad. It makes me mad. It makes me angry. But one good thing, I'm so glad that all these episodes happen. They're not associated with the Black Lives Matter.
Right.
So, you know, let's keep this thing into perspective. If it's our First Amendment right to protest, what's the problem?
Exactly.
Yes, but we got a little racist bigot in the White House.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what the problem is. And then Congress, the Senate, with Mitch McConnell, the Republican Senate, they helped grow this monster. Because see, when his butt was impeached in December, they should have kicked him out the office then. But no, but everybody doing their little dirt. So they holding on to the little Bama. And I don't call him the president. I call him the resident. That's what he is. He ain't no president. He's just a resident, and him and his family still killing and destroying.
And you know what, Platinum? We need to make sure that we get our votes out. I've got 3 kids that are able to vote. I've made sure they are in position with mom and dad. So we all got to make sure we get our votes out. And we don't know what they're gonna do once we send them in by mail, whatever. We gotta vote.
Gotta vote. And I tell people, grown kids and no grown kids. I got a grown daughter and a grown granddaughter. Yeah. And I'm making sure they vote. Matter of fact, I put me and my granddaughter's ballot in the box today. My daughter, for some reason, didn't come. But hers coming. If not, then she had to go to the polls.
Right.
So don't tell me your child grown so you can't tell them what to do. Don't make me cuss up on here. Oh, yes, you can. Hey, as long as you the parent, they still get to do what you say. Whether they're in your house or not. My daughter don't live here with me.
Yeah.
But that don't stop me from being her mama. That don't stop me from guiding her, telling her what's right or wrong. You know, you got people bled, died, got killed, so we can vote. Even try to count the jelly beans in a jar.
Yes, ma'am.
You know
yes, ma'am.
Yes. And then I had somebody, and I ain't gonna name no name, in my family gonna look at me and tell me lesser two evil. Ain't no lesser no two evils. Let's get this straight here. You know, when they compare the Democrat and the Republican side, you know, they always like, well, you know, they both
Yes, ma'am.
No, it ain't both doing nothing.
That's right.
Don't get the sister on her high horse like I tell them. Ain't both of them doing nothing.
There it is.
One evil person.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got all these little evangelicals behind him. Really?
And
I would be sitting up in their congregation.
Hey, Platinum, you know what? And it's interesting you mentioned that because, and I don't want to judge anybody, but I got to say this based on what you just said, because I think it's very interesting. Hey, listen, people can do whatever they want, but I'm going to tell you something right now. I am not going to let a clown represent me for anything.
That's right.
I don't care what you believe in. You're not going to let a clown represent you, are you?
Right.
You know what I mean, Platinum? That's the thing that I don't understand. And I think it's very, if you look at the world, I mentioned before that the world is quite disgusted with the
Right.
behavior of this nation. And the world also understands who's over at 1600 Pennsylvania
That's
Avenue.
right.
And they are laughing at this man.
Oh yeah.
So,
but thank God they don't blame. Well, I hope they don't blame most of the Americans. But you know, the evangelicals sound like the only reason they like him because they want him to fill our courts with conservatives about a woman's body. Now, excuse me, I know you're a man, but my thing to them is if you so concerned about a woman having an abortion, how about getting your butt a vasectomy?
well, that would work.
And we won't have to worry about anybody getting pregnant. You know, I tell people, and this is kind of getting off the subject just a little bit. See, the sister not preach a little bit too. You know, and I even say to guys, you know, if you don't want a woman to have a baby by you because you ain't ready, then you take care of what you need to do so she won't have a baby.
How about
I'm
that?
leaving it up to her. Put
How about that?
Or how about just don't do it? You know what I mean? If you really worry about your future, who gonna look out for you but you?
Well, I totally agree with you.
If you don't want a baby, put a rubber on it. Or better yet, don't even do it.
Don't even do it.
Don't rely on her. Well, I told her I ain't want, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know how that. Come on, dude.
If you really want to be holy, be like the Apostle Paul. Platinum, let me switch. Well, actually, not really switching gears. I do want to ask you another question on the same subject. Have you ever had a bad encounter with law enforcement yourself?
No, other than a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, why are you stopping me? You know, if I was a little young, I took the attitude. What's your problem? Last speeding ticket, I think about a year and a half ago, I was booking down 50.
Yes.
You know, so a little marked car came behind me. Oh God, what in the world? He like, you know, you were doing 70 in a 50-mile zone. I said, was I? I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I said, I had to get home. I'm expecting I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Oh, I was apologizing. He said, okay, you know, slow down. Thank you, officer. I was just humble.
Good. There you go.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have, you know, but I never had any major incident with the police because the sister can catch an attitude real fast. So, and I'm telling you, I'm saved, but I can catch an attitude, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes you got to learn how to fight your battles.
Yes, you do.
But that one, I was real humble because you know what I was like. I ain't got time to be getting no points on my license. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, you know what? At the end of I totally agree with you. At the end of the day, it's about humility. It's like this is really not that serious as far as having to win the argument. It's like, okay, my bad. You take the ticket and you move out. But I like your response as far as, you know, humility goes. I want to ask you about, and you kind of answered this question already about the open mics and secular open mics. And so I'm taking it that's something you do not do anymore.
I mean, if I had to, well, no, I did the funniest feds.
Okay.
Which wasn't an open mic, but you had to be a federal employee.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the interesting thing is, what I like about that is I got to perform in front of white people.
Okay.
You know, in which is they're a little different than a black audience, which is good.
Yes.
And I tell some of my Christian friends, I said, if you can learn how to perform in front of white people, like David Chappelle, I think you on your way to, and not to say that black people who, you know, but I think if you can hit that target, you know, move over, you know, I think you really can do something for real. Well, you know what I mean? Because they have a slightly different humor. I mean, they funny too, but I just think they had, because, you know, the first time I did it for the federal friend, and I'm like, oh, Lord, these white people, I ain't never, you know, what am I going to say? I'm like, help me, Lord. So the first thing I did, I went out there, I saw a sea of white people. I said, oh, Lord, I must have went to heaven and died because all I see is white people and they holler. You hear me? I tell you, I must have wooed them over so bad that, you know, they ain't had but two winners. You had the winner and you had the runner-up. They created a category for me called others. I was all over there where it said other. And then the next time I went before, Shoot, look, the winners didn't even make the Washington Post, where they made writing, but I got my picture on the paper.
Wow.
Sitting all there in the foul section with my mic. You know what I'm saying? That's God. That's God. That's God.
It is God. That is God. And you know what, Platinum? A lot of African American comedians shy away for some reason from white audiences, and I think you should perform in front of anybody. It doesn't matter.
A nice experience, and that allow you, I believe, to take your material and make it universal.
Right.
You know, to a certain point. Because I think how we talk about our kids and how they talk about their kids slightly different, but some of it can all still be the same too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because where they, time out and they getting a psychologist, and our time out is spelled B-E-L-T. Okay. B-E-L-T. I got your time out.
Yes, ma'am.
And then ours called the stir.
That's right.
Don't let me come over there.
And you know what?
You embarrassing me and I have to come over there. You just give them you call them by their whole government name.
And you know what, Platinum? We better be thankful that God is putting the world in a timeout right now. He ain't take his belt out yet.
That's right.
He didn't take his belt out yet.
No, he hasn't.
This is just a time out. But if you know what I mean? Because when you keep reading the word of God, that there's a point where he takes his belt out.
I know that's right.
You see what I mean? So yeah, there's a big difference. We actually are being given a pass and a time to think.
That's right. That's right.
And so when we come out of this, we need to have it right, Platinum.
Amen. Help us, sister.
Yeah, we need to have it right. But I got to tell you, though, when you're talking about, performing in front of different audiences, one of the biggest things, and my wife and I were talking about it earlier today, is when you have a bombing experience, that is one of the most teachable moments that a comedian can have. You can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to have those uncomfortable experiences where, hey, things just did not go well tonight, and then you got to be willing to go back and go, okay, now what happened? What could I have done better? What went wrong? And then when you're able to just laugh it off and go, okay, I'll go back and try this thing again tomorrow. Do you mind sharing an experience for you when maybe that might have been a moment where you were like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can recover from this?
Well, like I said, when I first came to Atlanta, I bombed in the churches. They don't tend to be hecklers, but you can bomb.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned as I was learning, the different tricks and trades of being a stand-up comedian is when you do bomb, don't go down with the ship. You look out there and you let them know I'm bombing. You let them know.
Yeah.
Laughing.
That's a good point.
And
I like
so
that.
you acknowledge what's happening with you and your audience. And that will cause them to laugh right there. So you done kind of brought yourself back up.
Yes, you have.
I mean? So you let them know, I know I'm bombing. Okay. And they'll start laughing because they know you suck. So you let them know, I know I suck. You know I suck. Whatever, I suck, So then you turn that suck into a laugh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta not go down with the ship because it will sort of mess with your self-esteem a little bit.
If you try to fight it,
Right.
You can't ignore the elephant in the room.
Okay, not bomb. Okay, so that wasn't funny. All right. Do something stupid with your face. It's all. Sometimes you joke all about in your looks too. You know what I mean? And I would say even the most famous people still bomb now. So
they do. It's still
because you make money or they make money. They can bomb right here today.
They can.
If you're in front of the wrong audience, I don't care who you are or you didn't present yourself right. So you kind of learn these questions you need to ask when you go and present yourself in front of people.
Exactly.
You might want to say, well, who's going to be there? What's the age? Blah, 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 blah. But the first time I did something in front of teenagers ain't into no comedy.
No, they're hard.
Write a couple songs. I don't know what you've been told. But Jesus came to save your soul. I had to come up with something. You know what I mean? little bad rascal. You know, so you got to come up with something. Hey,
Hey,
like
Platinum,
you not to get to them. You don't want to hear my old joke. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hey, Platinum, you cannot ignore the elephant in the room. You've got
That's
to
right.
acknowledge it.
That's right.
And that's how you come out of it. And you know what? Comedians live. Of course, the longer you do it and the better you get at it, the less it happens. But like you just said, it still can happen on any given night.
Because if you don't set this jokes and hear you over here, and it's also about any other thing. Know your audience. Now, I'm going to close that door back there because it's bugging me. Excuse me.
Okay, Platinum, I got you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with the very talented and funny Platinum from the Washington, D.C. area.
But you can still bomb. But I guess the whole thing, like anything else, know your audience. And so I know that I'm not a teen person. So if I got a gig to come and do some teenagers, I turn it down because I know that's not where my jokes lie with teenagers. So we can't be so anxious. Ooh, I got a gig. And you go before audience that you know your material is not right for. Because then you set yourself up to bomb.
Yes. I got lucky.
We have to be careful and says, okay, well, ask a little questions ourselves. Okay, who's this going to be for? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, one time I went into a prison.
Oh, that's good. That's a very good thing.
Yeah, lady prison. They locked the door behind me. Bam, bam. I'm like, hey, what? Get out. You sitting here locking up doors behind me. Wait a minute. So I went there, saw a lot of them. Again, and this is early on in my career because God has blessed me to go to Puerto Rico, go to California, go to New York, so he has really blessed me to get in front of some great people. I did some with Damon Wim. I did some with LaVale Crawford. I did some with, open up with Andre Krause. Like I said, I was like, okay, that wasn't nobody but God.
Yes, ma'am.
So you gotta kind of know your audience and not be anxious for nothing. And it's a learning process because you don't want to keep going places where your material is not suited for. Then people mess around and says, well, hey, she sucked. I wouldn't call her.
Well, that could happen too. Yeah.
Not set yourself up. Kind of set yourself up to do the best you can. So that's what I would just tell people.
Well, let me ask you this, Platinum. How long did it take you to develop a voice or a rhythm in comedy where you were comfortable with your presentation? How many years did it take before you really got comfortable on stage?
Well, it didn't take long. Number one, I'm an extrovert, so I'm kind of out there anyway. So I mean, it did not take long, but I'm still perfecting. You know what I mean? I kind of stopped. See, here's the deal, because I'm a creative person. I go for so far, then I stop. Instead of just perfecting that thing till it ain't almost till I can't perfect it anymore and then move on.
Right.
I tend to be a little multitasking, and that's not good. So I'm still learning. I think I understand a lot of the rules of the game.
Okay.
Of the craft, I guess I should say.
Okay.
Now it's just a matter of perfecting it so I can, be the best I can be at it. Because when I first started, I went to Comedy Connection, a lot of those places around here. You probably know Greg Poole. I was like, hey, how can I get up on that stage? He told me, hey, everybody been up on my stage. It took, 10 years. I'm like, what do you mean 10 years? So you said I got to wait 10 years before I can get up on your stage? Then I created my own I created my own comedy show. That's when I started my Mother's Day Eve dinner and comedy show. And I ran it, and it did pretty good. Like I said, and I quit a couple years and I was going to do it back this year. And then the COVID came in. So I don't let nobody tell me what I can't do. If the opportunity ain't there, you create it. If I can get a mic and a little bit of audience, I got my own comedy thing. And then I invite people in that, to do it with me.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Platinum. And this is a question I know you're going to kill because you are an extrovert, but how do you deal with butterflies and the nerves just before you go on stage, or do you ever have to battle with that?
Oh yeah, they say no matter who you are, you should always have butterflies. If you ain't got butterflies, you cocky.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's just part of human nature. I'm more nervous sitting in the audience waiting to get up there, because once I get up on the stage, the anointing comes on them. That's the anointing. But sitting in that audience, oh Lord, I gotta go to the bathroom. 5 minutes to get on the stage, all of a sudden I gotta go to the bathroom. No, that's that nerve. Butterfly. What am I gonna do? But when I get up on that stage, it's like, oh, I'm in my element. Oh, the Lord done taken over. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm out there.
I'm
fine. It's when I'm sitting in the audience waiting to come up there when all, like I said, the butterflies and gotta go to the bathroom. Like, Lord, have mercy, what's going on? No, not right now. So no. So if anybody tell y'all no, I don't get no butterflies, they cocky and they ain't prepared, because butterflies is gonna be there no matter who you are.
Well, that's true. Kevin Scott says nobody on this planet can tell you what to do when God has your back. You're 100% right, Kevin. Right. That's no question about it. I'm like you though, Platinum. I'm kind of like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to remember all this stuff. But as soon as I grab that mic, it's on.
It's on.
It's just on. I mean, you become somebody else. You know what I mean? You just you're in your zone now.
There you go. You sitting in that audience, you kind of like looking around, so everybody else. I mean, you know your material, your confidence, but somehow you just butterfly out. But once you get up on that stage, it's like, okay, I'm here now.
Yeah, and you know what? The reason I asked you is because a lot of comedians have different ways of handling butterflies. Like there are some comics that are like, they don't want anybody to come near them because they're in this space, they're so, into whatever they're trying to get ready to do. You can't talk to them. So, you stay away. Okay, Mike's doing his thing. Let him do his thing. But everybody's got their way. There's some people like to just keep talking and talking and talking and talking, try to get the nerves away. Some people try to write. I definitely don't like it when a comic, well, it's not my way. If I'm writing jokes for my set, that means I'm not ready. That should have been done before I got there. You know what I mean? But you see some comics, they're still trying to write, and I'm like, oh man. But everybody's got their different way of dealing with,
But you know what I would say? Because I write a lot of jokes and I don't take them to memory because I'm too busy doing other stuff instead of really setting down a set time each day and says, hey, this is dedicated to your comedy. Right. So that might be where they writing at. But I tell people, and I even remember reading when I first started, it takes people years to perfect their comedy. Just perfect a good group team. You start with 5, 10, 15, 20. You build up till you can do a solid hour.
Yeah.
But I can take one joke. It could be the same joke, but I can twist it just a little bit different.
Okay.
But it's still good to write new material and perfect it. But, you can tell the same joke, but tell a little differently.
Right. So how long can you stay on?
So, because it takes years to really kind of perfect. I know people see Jay Leno and Steve Colbert and some of those other people. They got people writing jokes for them. So they look at a teleprompter.
That's exactly right.
I'm quite sure they rehearse a little bit, but they ain't creating them jokes themselves for the most part.
No, they have writers. And that's a good point that you make. They just show up and these guys hand him stuff and say, do you like this? Do you like that? Whatever. Exactly. And he decides on the jokes he's going to go with. But we as comedians that are trying to build something, it's a whole different ballgame. When you get to the point where you're Jerry Seinfeld or Kevin Hart or Bill Burr or some of these guys that are really, really killing it, they wrote themselves to that point.
But I'm quite sure they still kind of tell the same joke. So it's not like, they go to Chicago. I mean, for 5 or 6 years, they probably still telling those same jokes. And again, they may come back to somewhere, but they just change it slightly.
Well, yeah. Well, Jerry Seinfeld does.
I remember Broderick Rice. He the one kind of gave me, sort of with the name Platinum, how it came about, because I was watching him. He came to our church. And that's when I hadn't even started doing comedy yet. And my pastor told him, I wanted to be a comedian. And so while he was telling his joke, he looked in the audience and said, oh, Miss Blondie, you look like you got some money. I said, no, I ain't Blondie. I'm Platinum. So when I got to meet him at the end of the show, he said, oh, do you have a stage name? I said, well, no, I thought about Mama D, but I ain't want to be, and Miss Cantaloupe had just came out really doing her thing. So I said, no, I like variety. So I don't want to be put in a box. So Mama D is just my alter ego. Hattie Mae Mama D is a wannabe gospel singer and a gossiper. Then I have another alter ego, which is Hattie Mae Johnson.
Okay.
And she's the secretary.
Aha.
Yeah, she's the lazy secretary. And so he said, well, don't you let Platinum be your name? I said, Platinum, suppose I change my hair. He said, well, it don't matter because once your name is established, it's established. So that's how I came with Platinum. But I could just be Marilyn Franklin. That's my birth name. You know what I mean? Some people say sometimes women need to change their names, but men can keep theirs. Go figure.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because I think female comedians are not given the same respect as male comedians. Have you found it difficult as a female comic?
Well, no, not really. Because if I see somebody like they mistreat me, I'm gonna put them in their place. Didn't I tell you I grew up in the projects? I used to be a timid creature, but I'm in the battle of the fittest. So you know what? You can stand there and cry and act like you timid if you want to, because the world gonna walk right over you. So
you know what? Platinum, but you know what? I've always felt that female comedians are actually. I think female comedians have a quicker wit than men. I think female comedians are just are funnier to me, and I don't think most men are willing to acknowledge it. In the field of comedy, you can talk about that in other parts of life as well. But I noticed in comedy, men are not willing to give females their due. It's like, dude, she's funny. Just give her props, but men don't want to do that.
Because even when I was remember I said I went to the Uptown Comedy Club. Yeah. So I had a couple people follow me there from the conference. And so one lady said, she saw me the next day. She said, hey, we thought you was funny. How you doing? She said, I asked the guy why he told you to get off the stage because we thought you were real funny.
Yeah.
He said she was funny. But because it was a suckling club and I'm talking clean stuff, he said they didn't want to hear it.
Wow.
I wasn't talking about, the blue joke with, what they be talking about. Because I say, anyway, comedians that get up there and talk about oral sex and all that, what? I don't think anything's funny about that. But you can talk about it, but not talking about it. And let us leave it to our imagination. And it can be funny as all outdoors.
Sure it could. Sure it could.
You don't have to describe it.
Right.
You can let people go there with the imagination. And it can be much funnier than you actually talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it may work for somebody got a bunch of drinks. But even if you want to, and I'm gonna give you a prime example. I remember I was in church and I said, and I was in a class at church, and the teacher said, get a partner, pray with them, and tell them something you want God to do for you.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know what? I don't think I'm funny enough. Okay. And the lady was me, she talked about her husband. Okay. And I said, I don't think I'm funny enough.
Okay.
That very next day, I kid you not, I'm sitting at my desk. This is probably maybe 7 years ago. I'm sitting at my desk. My phone rang. I answered my cell phone. I answered. She said, may I speak to Platinum? I said, this is she. I forgot what the lady said her name was. But guess what? She said, I'm calling from America Got Talent.
Wow.
I'm like, what? She said, I'm calling from American Got Talent. She said, you got a minute to speak? So I went around. I said, could you hold 1 second? I went to the conference room, which was right around the corner from my desk. And I was talking to her. So she said, you ever watch it? I said, well, I never watched the full show. I hit and miss. You surfing TV.
Yeah.
And she says, I want you to be on American Got Talent. She said, you can go on national TV. She said, a lot of comedians can't do that. And I'm like, well, where do you get my name from? Yeah. She said, on the internet. And if that wasn't nobody but God said, wow. When I first started doing comedy, I had on my card, I am that I am because I am said I am. Because sometimes other comedians can tear you down.
They can.
God told me I am that I am because I am said I am. You remember when I am told Moses, go tell Pharaoh, let my people go? He like, well, who should I say sent him? Who am I? I am sent you. Woo. So I am sent me.
That's right. That's right. Yes,
ma'am. Do stand up.
That's right.
And so He was just going to show me, when I tell you you about something, then you trust and believe, no matter what others say.
That's a good point, Platinum. I like that.
People see the anointing on you that you don't see on yourself.
Yeah.
And they reflect. So I just want to say that for all y'all comedians out there, as long as you do your best, you rehearse, run your material by some people, because I mentor, other comedians.
Yeah.
Show them, let me show you how to put the funny in your stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Joke, but you got to have a punch, because that's what makes people laugh.
It is.
Now, sometimes you can tell a funny story if you can, but most time you add little punches throughout.
Exactly. That's what you're doing. Yeah.
Laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to.
Yeah, I be getting on my horse, but.
No, I agree with everything you just said. I was talking with a comedian earlier today, Mike Brown from Washington, D.C., and I was telling him about the favoritism that some rooms have over other comedians. You notice the same people keep getting picked to go up, and you know that, and you go, hey, wait a minute, that guy is really not that funny, but he's always getting on because it's cliquish. But the answer to that is what you just said. And that you have to let God take you to where he wants you to go.
Where he wants you.
And so it's not about worrying about what they're doing or let them do what they do. It's about what God is doing in your life.
And you make your own opportunity. Okay, well, I ain't got to go over in the clique.
Yeah, I don't have to be over there. No.
With me, so we can't let that, because that can become a discouraging as well. So like you said, that's why I created my own stuff. Like, hey, you can't tell me. All I need is a mic. And because I did my stuff, I had my own sound equipment. I got my lights. Hey, I got it all.
That's right.
I had one person tell me my stuff ain't gonna be no good because I ain't had certain comedians on my bill. Really? And God blessed me to have orders of 175 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Now take that to the bank, because you don't know who I serve, whose I am. I am that I am.
I love it. There you go.
Blessed me to open up the door. The next year I had almost 200 people. Then I kind of took a break, but my mentor was building. Momentum was building. And I stopped. So sometimes you can't stop in the game. You got to keep on moving.
You do. You do.
The same thing with doing a DVD. I did my first DVD on my own. But I had a professional person to do it, but because I did all the planning and tried to do everything by myself. But we know we need a team. Ain't no man in Allen. We need a team to kind of help sit down and write. If you know them shows, like I went to see Larry Fishburne on, he played Thurgood Marshall. I mean, the list of people that was helping him.
Yeah.
You know. So you need people who know stuff that you don't know.
And you mean Lawrence Fishburne that's on Blackish right now with Anthony Anderson?
Marshall in a play on Broadway.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And so I heard in seeing him and then seeing all the team that helped him put that together, over 30-something people.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to do it with just a little old me. Okay, you know, I'm the creative part of it, but then I need a team who know, and I got a professional lady who the video is very professional, but I know next time I do a video, not only do I need a videographer, but you need a still person.
Okay.
Because trying to abstract pictures from off a video ain't the same as coming from a camera.
Right. Okay.
That's what you need for your cover and some other stuff. So
exactly.
I learned, so I know next time I do it, I mean, I may not be able to get 30 people, but if I can give me 3 or 4 or maybe 5 good men or women or a team, you know, one to know a little bit about each thing.
Sure. 100%. Platinum, we have just killed this hour. This has been a great show. I have loved every second of this conversation with you. And I want you to leave fans with a little information as to how they can follow you on social media or contact you for booking.
Okay. I'm up on Platinum for Laughs on Facebook. I have a website, platinumforlaughs.com, or they can always email me at platinumforlaughs@gmail.com. And I ain't getting y'all my phone number, but you reach me those ways, and I think my phone number up on my website, but that's platinumforlaughs.com. That's the conjunction for FOR, platinumforlaughs.com.
Okay.
or Platinum for Laughs at Gmail. And also I'm up on Facebook, Platinum-Merlin Franklin. And I
Okay.
also have a business page, which is Platinum for Laughs. And I'm going to see how I can merge some of those pages. And I'm actually on Instagram as, I believe it's Platinum-Merlin Franklin also.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done any shows yet, but I'm going to get back into it. But I can do a show for you.
There you go. Sounds good. Well, I got some plans coming up in November, and I'm going to be in touch with you and let you know more about that, Platinum.
Okay.
But ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with the very talented and amazing Platinum on the Maurice Brown Show. Platinum, thank you for being on the show, and may the peace of Christ be with you and your family.
And thank your audience for showing up and saying hi and supporting you.
Amen. Amen.
I don't always get up here to support you because I'm trying to get my business the boutique together. So I'm not on Facebook like I should, but I need to probably set my little alarms, notifications. So when you do come on, because you coming on twice a day?
Twice a day, twice a week.
Oh, so you on what? What's the day? Monday?
Monday. And tomorrow I'll be, I'm Platinum. You know what? I'm glad you said something because I got 2 more shows tomorrow. And so you are on today and tomorrow at 3:00. I've got the filmmaker and director, Christopher Shaw. He's going to be on the show. And then I don't know if you've been watching this show called Vindication, but those 2 actors are on a crime series on PureFlix, which is really all the rage right now. They're going to be on the show November 2nd and 3rd, respectively. And I highly, please, if you get a chance,
I don't have PureFlix anymore, but okay.
But you can, if you want to get it on Amazon or ChristianCinema.com. I think those 2 platforms are also showing it. That is a great faith-based.
And what's the name of the show again? Put it up again.
Yeah, it is called Vindication.
Okay, cool.
And
Christopher.
And well, this one is directed by Jared O'Flaherty.
Okay.
But Christopher Shaw, who's going to be on tomorrow, has some other projects that he's working on with comedian Scott Wood. Do you know Scott by any chance? Scott out of California, San Diego, California. Scott Wood, blonde guy.
Came up there. I've seen his name before.
Yeah, Scott Wood. Let me see.
I'm actors too.
See that guy right there, Scott Wood with the glasses?
Right, I think he was on earlier. Yes.
Yeah.
I think when I first got on Facebook or something, he responded to me.
Yeah.
Wow. And somebody said, "You sure?" Because that guy was somewhere else. I'm like, I know it was him.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, Platinum. So, yes.
What's the other fella?
For tomorrow?
No. What's that crazy other guy? God, he just on the new picture with Netflix. Oh God. Got his name around the tip, but he been around a while. He's married. His wife is African American.
Okay.
He was doing, Think Like a Man.
Are you talking about Gary Owens?
Gary Owen. Yes. Gary Owen. Yeah.
He's funny. He's funny. Well, look, Platinum, I'm going to go ahead and skate, but I'm going to stay in touch with you because, like I said, I got some plans for November I'd like for you to be a part of, but I'll talk more with you about it.
Whatever day?
What's that?
You on Mondays, and what's your second day?
Mondays and Tuesdays. 2 shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why can't you Tuesday during the day? Because in the evenings our Bible study.
Okay, I got you. Well, thanks again, Platinum. God bless you. Again, may the peace of Christ be with you, and thanks again for being on the show. God bless you.
God bless you and continued success.
Amen. Amen.